All right, we are back. Sorry, guys, we had some technical problems, but we are back, and we'll be back on the radio in just a couple minutes. We lost our connection to the radio station, and I'll be back on the radio in 60 seconds. Oh man, yeah, I know. I took off the coat for two reasons. One, it was making too much noise on the mic at the radio station, and I live in Florida and it's hot, so I took a. But let me see here. Okay, we will be back on the air in 40 seconds. All right, stand by. Yeah, I lost the connection. It happens. So I'll have to start over. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. All right. Sorry, we lost our connection. I had a technical issue, but it's been worked out. Okay. We got a lot to talk about on the program today, and your calls certainly are welcome. I'm going to start talking, though, big development with Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and the Epstein files. And the reason I'm doing this is because Pam Bondi last week got a lot of grief, and there were actually MAGA people out there who were calling for her to resign. And I did tell you guys that handing that binder that had nothing new in it to the influencers was a PR mistake. I mean, there's no getting around. That was a PR mistake. But I said be patient. Pam Bondi, if you look at how Pam Bondi has been handling things, she's handling it like a lawyer, like a prosecutor. She's making a legal trail. So she had ordered the FBI to deliver the Epstein files to her. They gave her some files, told her they were the files, and then a whistleblower contacted her and said, that's nothing. The files are being stored in the Southern District of New York. So she ordered the Southern District of New York to produce the files by 8 a.m. Friday. And they did. And Pam Bondi has described it literally as a truck filled with Epstein files were delivered to her on Friday. She has Kash Patel going through them. Now, because these involve thousands and thousands of files, it is going to take them time. They do have to redact, by law, the names of victims. They can't have the names of victims publicly. No, that's the law. So they have to go through and make sure that those things are redacted, and we'll probably get them in pieces as they go through them. But there was literally a truck loaded with files, and it was delivered on time as Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered on Friday. And she went on Hannity last night, but I want to read this. This is from X. Colin Rugg, he's good. He's on X. This was yesterday. Attorney General Pam Bondi says a truckload, those are her words, of Jeffrey Epstein files arrived on Friday. She says FBI Director Kash Patel is looking through them now. We got them all Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Kash is going to give me a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. We're going through it as fast as we can. And, there's so many files, it's going to take a while, but they also have to have people go through them that they trust. They can't have people going through the files that they don't trust, okay? Because if they have some compromised people there that are going through the files, they may come across something and it'll never be seen. Now, I've told you, my expectations for the files are very low. I think anything that's truly juicy or indicts anyone whose name we would know, any household name, figures, politicians, celebrities, is probably in possession in those secret J. Edgar Hoover files. So I don't have a lot vested in the files, okay? But they will be released. And the way she's doing it may not be on the short attention span schedule that we've all been accustomed to, but she's doing it as promised, as ordered by the president, and as was promised during the campaign. So people need to calm down a little bit. While it was a mistake to get those influencers involved last week, and those influencers look like clowns, you going to hold that against her? You know, Elon Musk, he said that you don't just take charge right away. When you show up, you're not really in charge right away. That's true. It takes a while. And she did fire the guy from the Southern District office who was hiding the files. So let me just play a little bit. This is Pam Bondi on Hannity.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Kash is also, now that we have Kash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Kash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed.
Okay, she already said all that, Hannity. Okay, so everything is going according to plan, and people that are giving Pam Bondi a hard time and talking about her resign. There's a lot of people out there in our MAGA world who feel slighted. Okay, there's quite a few, and a lot of them are vocal with large followings. So they're out there causing trouble because they're not on the inside where they think they should be. Okay, so no, everything with the Epstein files is going according to plan. You have to be patient, and I'll tell you, she smoked out some people in the Southern District of New York, Pam Bondi. So we have an idea of what's going on and who some of the players are. And the Southern District is where, of course, they were causing a lot of problems for President Trump. So a lot of people have been smoked out of that Southern District, and they know who to start looking at. Okay? But as I say, don't get excited about these files. I don't expect anything earth-shattering to come out of them. You know, those document dumps, lawyers do that all the time in criminal cases, especially prosecutors in the Southern District. The prosecutors, they do these massive document dumps to bog people down, knowing it could take weeks, even months, and maybe even longer to properly go through documents sometimes. So don't get all excited that some major thing's going to be found here, that there's some pristine bullet document that's going to open up everything. Maybe, but it's doubtful. If there is, I'll be excited. You'll be excited. But stop hating on Pam Bondi. You know, I don't really get it. You know, we've got to be MAGA united. If Trump is okay with someone, you should be okay with that person. All right. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hey, Brian, it's Gary. I'm currently balls deep in your dad.
Oh, you got that, Mike? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Is school out? Is today a holiday? You know, I'll never quite get that. I hope you got that, Mike. If you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to re-engage, and then we'll maybe take some calls. But listen, now that we have all of our people, we just got McMahon in place, right? It just confirmed. The cabinet has gotten together faster than most cabinets from all the reports that I'm hearing. And not only that, okay, oh my goodness. Not only that, it's going to take a little bit of time. with TikTok and everything, the attention span of the American people is about 3 seconds. It's just not long. And people want everything handled, and they want it handled yesterday. And I get that. I mean, there's a lot of things I want too. And I want things handled yesterday and the day after, tomorrow, have all these people, in jail or something. But, you have unrealistic expectations, and don't let yourself be influenced by influencers who think that they've been shut out and don't have the proper place that they should have in the Trump administration. All right? Okay. Now, the other big story of today is the tariffs are now in effect, the Trump tariffs on Canada and Mexico. And I'm going to get into some more detail on this as the show goes on. But it really just cracks me up listening to all of these Democrats tell us how bad tariffs are. Tariffs, of course, are import taxes. And notice you don't hear the Democrats say import taxes. They continue to say tariffs because they can't get themselves to vocally say anything negative that's a tax, with tax in the word. So they're using the other word, tariffs. But Democrats, and not just these idiots in the fake news media and pundits, I'm talking about like rank and file, regular people that are Democrats, the few that are still out there, they are telling us, well, tariffs, import taxes, they're just going to be passed along to the consumer. Well, this is an amazing thing to me, because I've never in my life seen Democrats as a group, be active to try to stop a tax increase. Now, these tax increases are not against Americans. They're against these foreign countries' companies, okay? But if import taxes will increase prices for consumers, why not the other taxes that you're always trying to pass on the American people and businesses in this country? Why does it not apply to that? Why do those taxes not get passed along to the consumer, but the tariffs will? But here's the deal with the tariffs, okay? They're not going to be in effect very long. I know Canada, they're all trying to sound butch and everything, and they'll continue to do it, for a while. But remember what Trump said. These are reciprocal tariffs, reciprocal import taxes. And you guys know what that means. I'm almost embarrassed to have to explain it, but I got to, for the liberally impaired in the audience. If Canada has a 10% tax on our imports, we're going to have a 10% tax on them. If it's a 30%, we'll have a 30% on them. The way for them to not have these tariffs increased is to lower their tariffs on us. Why is it wrong, you liberals out there, for President Trump to raise the tariffs to the exact same level that the other countries have on our companies? Can you explain that to me? You all are living in la-la land. Now, another thing about all this, I know it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? I know. Economics 101. But the reason that, these tariffs are happening, the reason President Trump is really pushing them, in particular against Canada and Mexico, is to get those companies in the United States. Bill Clinton sold this country out with NAFTA. And, Canada has a small population. They do not have a population large enough to support the manufacturing going on there. What is the Canadian? This is a very good question, and I'll throw this out. What is the Canadian car brand? Like, if I wanted to buy a Canadian car and I wanted a Canadian car brand, what would that be? They don't have it. Now, they may have some Canadian names for American cars, but they really don't have their own auto industry. The auto industry in Canada is an export industry into the United States, courtesy of NAFTA. Their population is 10% of the American population, right? They do not have a population large enough to support a domestic auto industry. They stole our auto industry, and President Trump is putting tariffs in to get those industries back. And if you don't believe me, go and look. I was talking about this on YouTube last night on a YouTube live stream I did. when my daughter was little, there was a show we used to watch all the time, which I'm sure still runs constantly on some channel somewhere. How It's Made. You ever watch How It's Made? It's a really cool show. They go into manufacturing plants and factories and show how all kinds of things are made. It's a Canadian show in Canadian factories for the most part. And they're all goods, except for that episode they did on the curling stones, whatever you call those things. But all the things they manufacture are to export into the United States. They're American goods. Mexico, now Canada's population's small. Their whole industry is about exporting to America. Mexico, the problem Mexico has is they have a population that's poor. They're mostly peasants. You know, if you make $300 a month in Mexico, you're like middle class. Can you imagine? So the Mexican people don't earn enough money to support the industries there. The things they're making in Mexico they're American things to export into the United States. So Trump's putting the taxes in, the import taxes, the tariffs, whatever you want to call them, to get those businesses back in the United States. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So these people that are telling us that President Trump is doing all these things that are so wrong, think about it a little bit. I know they're not. They're just on their Trump hate rhetoric. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take a break and be back right after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Show 3222. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Two minutes. 1 minute. We'll be back in less than a minute, guys. It's our bottom of the hour break. What happened? We lost the connection to the radio station, so I had to. I was connected through YouTube, and we lost the feed, so I had to reconnect it. Okay, 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Holy smokes, long time, huh? Almost half a century. That 50th year, that's going to be big. We got to do something big in that 50th year. All right, so let's get back to it. So Canada basically is declaring war. And the premier of Canada, of Ontario, let me pull this up. This guy is out of his freaking mind. I wasn't going to play this, but I am now. I changed my mind. You know, this guy, Doug Ford. Now, is Doug Ford the brother of that crackhead Canadian mayor? So Doug Ford is really, he's threatening the United States. And Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario, which is like a governor, he's threatening the American people. In the dead of winter up north, here in Florida, it's so hot. Oh my goodness, it's going to be in the 80s today. But up north along the Canadian border, it's cold. There's snow on the ground. And heat. And heating fuel and all of that, electric, that's life. You know, you cut that off, people die. So here is Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario, threatening the United States and the American people. Listen to this. And they did this on MSNBC. MSNBC, they love to bring people on that hate America, even if they have to go outside the borders.
We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states.
Wow. So Doug Ford, the brother of a crackhead, is telling us that the Canadians are drunks, alcoholics. 10% of the American population, 10% the size of the American population, and they're like the number one buyer of liquor? Really? Do Canadians have a drinking problem like this? I didn't realize. Well, Doug Ford thinks they do, I guess.
We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell. Don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything.
Wow, he's going after everything. Don't touch our bourbon. You know what? Hey, especially with those mean drunks.
And I don't want to. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes in manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it.
Wow, he's going to shut down electricity in the dead of winter to our northern states. Is that a threat? Is Doug Ford threatening the United States of America? According to him, are they such alcoholics in Canada that if you cut off their whiskey, you cut off and he was really, that bourbon, don't stop they're going to cut off, people will die if they were to cut. Now, are we really dependent on them for our electricity? That is a national security threat made against this country. This is crazy to me that this is being allowed. And MSNBC, they're celebrating this. Let's get back to it. This is Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario, threatening The United States.
It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario.
Okay. You know, all these things that he says we get from Canada, we don't need any of it. We don't need any of it. We have more oil, natural gas, and coal than any other country on the planet. The United States is blessed with that. We don't need any of this Canadian stuff. The reason that we get all this Canadian stuff is because our leaders have been selling us out. And Doug Ford and the Canadians, the Canadian government, they're going to wake up. They're going to have a rude awakening that we don't need them. Canada is on our coattails. Canada has never been by our side. They've been betraying us since July 4th, 1776, when they sided with the Loyalists. Okay, they sided with the king. They didn't want to join the American Revolution.
And it's going to be a massive, massive problem. I'm telling you, we love the Canadians love Americans.
Oh, I can tell.
I love the U.S. Everyone.
Yeah, but he's going to cut your heat off.
Does, and not one American friend. When I lived there for 20 years, I've talked to all of them. Hardcore Republicans are saying this is the biggest mistake President Trump has done, and we're dead against it.
Really, who are these Republicans that are dead against Trump in this? Do you know? I know they have this liberal urban legend they're trying to peddle, that all these Republicans are regretting supporting and voting for Trump, but I don't know any of these people. Do you?
And so, I've yet to find one that supports him.
And so if I'm hearing you correctly, you are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States, with the Trump administration.
It's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah, I hope he does it. Let's do it. Do it. Who do you think's going to win that?
It's one person that's coming to attack us economically. Your closest friend, your treasured ally that will stand shoulder to shoulder with you in every situation you faced. And he's attacking the person, his number one customer. There's no country in the world that buys more products off the U.S. than we do. We're the number one trading customer to 28 states. And a lot of them are red states. They're going to feel the pain like they've never felt before.
See, there he goes with that threat again. What are we supposed to do? They're threatening to cut off electricity, threatening to cut off the heat, threatening to cut off everything. Go to war with the United States. What are we supposed to do? Let them get away with this? And why? Because President Trump is raising the import taxes to the level that they have against us? Why don't they lower their import taxes and we'll lower ours back?
We're going to feel the pain, but I'll tell you, Canadians are resilient, we're strong, we're proud, and we're going to fight back like they've never seen before.
Wow. They're going to cut off our heat, cut off our electricity, cut off our oil, force our nuclear plants to shut down. And then we're going to feel pain and hurt like we've never hurt before? This guy must be smoking some of that crack that his late brother left behind.
And I'm sorry to the American people that your president has decided to do this. I apologize, but he's giving us no choice. There's nothing wrong with our trading. He keeps saying, oh, they're taking money. No, that's not accurate. Matter of fact, if you take out our oil, that you take 4.3 million barrels a day, and we keep things going, outside of that, take the energy to the side, you have a $55 billion surplus, which is good. That's fine. America has a $55 million process. And I mean,
if you take out the imbalance, what's left after you take out the imbalance, there's a surplus. What kind of math is that?
55 billion more in trade, and God bless them. We want to expand the trade. We want to create an AMCAN fortress.
An AMCAN fortress. AMCAN, America, Canada. Yeah, notice America's first, even according to Doug Ford. An AMCAN fortress. Well, stop ripping us off. President Trump announced yesterday he's suspending funding to Ukraine. We need to cut off Canada. not only have they stolen, courtesy of Bill Clinton's NAFTA, our auto industry and other industry north of the border that should be here. We're subsidizing their entire country. We're paying for their national health care system. We pay for their national defense. He says that we're an ally. When have the Canadians done anything that we needed them to do to back us up and help us? What, they send, how many soldiers, after 9/11, they sent some soldiers to Afghanistan? How many? And what did they do? How many did they send? 200? Come on. Canada has been on the coattails of the United States since we became independent. They actively worked to destroy this country for a long time. And now they've gotten very comfortable living high off the hog, ripping our country off. And I don't know how you feel, but Doug Ford here, the premier of Ontario, and I got to tell you something, Canada is so insignificant. If we had a blank map, we couldn't point to where Ontario was, Americans, because it doesn't matter, okay? I don't know exactly where. I got an idea. Know where the U.S. states are. I bet he knows where our states are. Nobody cares, okay? But this guy, Doug Ford, is threatening the United States. Why aren't they going after him instead of Trump? This guy's talking about cutting people's heat off in Michigan in the middle of the winter. People will die. Children and seniors would die if he were successful in doing that. This guy's out of his mind. This is one of the greatest threats this country has had verbally on television like this before. This is insane the way this guy's talking. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell everyone about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Oh, man, I love the doorbell camera. It's absolutely incredible. And you can get a doorbell camera for free with the installation of your Sloman Shield, and that doorbell camera connects directly to your cell phone. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. No matter where you're located, take advantage of this. The number's easy to remember, 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's in the live chat. We'll be back in 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So the tariffs are in effect now against Canada and Mexico, the reciprocal tariffs. Here's the president yesterday talking about them.
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs, 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. In other words, you build, and this is exactly what Mr. Wei is doing, by building here. Otherwise, they'll build, if they did them in Taiwan to send them here, they'll have 25% or 30% or 50% or whatever the number may be someday. It'll go only up. But by doing it here, he has no tariff, so he's way ahead of the game. And I would just say this to people, but very important.
Okay, so so what's wrong with that? Now, yesterday, President Trump made history again. He brought this guy in from Taiwan. How much is he investing in the United States? Have you ever seen a president of the United States have press conferences and announce this is like almost a daily event, announce investments into the United States of billions of dollars, oftentimes hundreds of billions of dollars. The guy yesterday, 100 billion. Someone just told me in the live chat. Typically, and other than Trump, when presidents have press conferences, it's to announce that they're giving money away. Has anyone added up all these jobs and investments he's brought in, including the Apple one? This is historic. Presidents never do this. They give away. He is moving money back into this country. That's the main purpose of the tariffs, is to bring he said it right there yesterday at the White House, the president, to bring these industries back into the United States. No president has ever done this. There might be an isolated thing. I've seen governors do this. Okay, governors do this all the time. Like here in Florida, there's been a few times where this has happened. The governor of Florida in the 1960s made the deal with Walt Disney personally to have Disney World here to create jobs. Central Florida was nothing. It was a swamp with some orange groves until Disney. I remember Burt Reynolds was a big movie star. I remember the governor of Florida, I can't remember, was it Martinez? I can't remember which governor it was, but the governor of Florida, I remember when I was a kid, I was in middle school, maybe high school, flew to Los Angeles to personally ask Burt Reynolds to move back to Florida, to Jupiter, where Jupiter Joe Thomas is, and bring with him the movie industry, because he was a movie star and he had that Evening Shade TV show. And sometimes local governments, I've seen local cities and things over the years where I live, they'll go to a major company and say, hey, if you move your corporate headquarters to our city in Florida, you'll have no property taxes for 20 years. So they do it. But I've never seen it on the presidential level before. And it's a beautiful and amazing thing. All right, let's go to the phones. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is me, Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Canada can't win this thing. And people better open up their eyes. If you walk, you're with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am. I'm just while you're talking, I'm drinking coffee.
It's okay. When you go into Publix, you go into the aisle that sells all the wines. If you see, you got domestic and you got imports. If your domestics that are made in the United States are a lot cheaper than your imports, you're going to buy from American companies.
Exactly.
If you go into a car dealership and like Ford, and you see the F-150 truck sitting in the corner, and you see an F-250 or whatever, and the F-150 costs more because it's made in Canada, you're going to buy the one made in the United States.
Correct.
And guess what? The people that make the car in the United States are going to benefit by it. The American worker. And
what is, and if you think of it, this is the question, what is the Canadian auto manufacturer? I mean, we have Ford and...
They don't have any.
Exactly. They've stolen ours. They've stolen ours.
Right. So did Mexico. These American but these are American corporations that the Democrats are always knocking. They took their production, moved them to these foreign countries for cheaper labor.
That's right.
Canada, put a car together in Canada is cheaper. and they don't have the population to purchase.
Well, part of the reason is Canada gave them a lot of incentives, and they probably don't have the same union problems in Canada that they have had historically in Michigan and Detroit.
Yeah, look at Detroit. Why should Detroit, which was the hub of automotive, why should they suffer when over in Toronto, for example, they got a plant?
But Detroit used to be the shining star of America, and now it's a crack town because Canada stole our auto industry, and Mexico too.
But here's the other good thing about tariffs. President Trump gets it, and you went to college, you're a history guy. This country was actually an isolationist type of country. We made everything in this country. As a little boy growing up, everything was made in the United States. Then we started dumping it off to Japan because we felt we had to rebuild Japan after World War II. And Germany. We were making everything in the United States, televisions, radios, everything.
Yeah.
And we were doing very well.
And now we're not. And the reasons we're not, and the reason we're not now is three reasons. One, the union wages forced the jobs overseas, Democrats. Democrat Bill Clinton and NAFTA. And third, our politicians are corrupt who have been taking bribes on the tariffs so that from these other countries.
Here's another big thing. We have a major problem with Doge right now. They're finding all the money, taxpayers' dollars that are being blown in foreign countries, right?
Yeah.
How would the American people like it if there was no more income tax, which we never had an income tax up until what year was it, Brian? Like
World War I. World War I. They brought in the income tax.
We could do
Democrats.
if we have these taxes that President Trump has put on this right now, we can eliminate the income tax.
That's
in
right.
The country once everything gets
That's
going.
right. And that's what his ultimate goal is. That's his ultimate goal. At some point, he'll reveal that.
Exactly.
I don't know if he'll do that. Tonight, he promises something big. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, get your popcorn. They're telling everyone, get your popcorn.
Oh.
This is from the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't even know what it could. Do you have any idea what he could be talking about? He said something big's going to be announced tonight.
I personally think that it's going to be an assault on the Democratic Party because they're giving them a hard time on passing the budget. I think he's going to throw it all in their pocket. And there's some people that are not even going to show up for this thing.
There's a lot of talk. Will the Democrats show up? It could be some big things they found on Doge, and he's going to dress down Congress for allowing this to happen like he did those NATO leaders in the first term. That's possible.
Well, I know one thing. Nancy Pelosi won't be up there ripping up the State of the Union address like she did.
Yes,
this is going to be showtime here.
Oh, I can't wait.
He's on a roll, and he's not holding back.
And I got to stay up late because he's coming on past my normal bedtime. I got to stay up late for it, but I'm going to stay up. Oh, yeah.
You'll be up.
Who could sleep through that?
May I say something about that ice jacket? May I say something about the ice jacket
that
you purchased?
Yes.
May I, please?
Yes.
Usually ICE, when they go into a raid, they go in teams because it's safety for them. Brian, for you to wear that thing isolated by yourself, you don't know there's crazy people out there.
Oh, it's dangerous? You think it's dangerous?
You put a target on your back.
Really, it's dangerous?
Huh?
It's dangerous to wear it?
I think so. Yeah. I know. I wouldn't wear it alone.
I shouldn't go to Home Depot or Lowe's?
You want to get reaction out of people, but you might get some crazy person.
Well, if I do it, it'll be to make a YouTube video. So maybe I want someone to go crazy. I'll go viral.
Oh my God, you bet.
But I might not be alive to enjoy it. All right, take care. What Richie's talking about, I saw it online the other day, so I bought one. I was wearing it in the first segment, but it's hot, man. It's Florida, you know. It's not. It's like gonna be. I'm wearing short sleeves, but it makes a noise that the mic's picking up. But I got a ICE immigration jacket. I bought it off of Amazon. It was cheap too. It was like $20. I like it. I might wear it out today. We'll see. Now I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. Oh man, you know, could you imagine what would I be like if Dr. Appleton had not 7 times ended my pain? Some of the pains were from growing older. I had arthritis in my hand. My knee, I'm pretty sure that was arthritis. You know, my knee that he rid me of pain in, I suffer from that pain since I was about 20 years old. And then over 50 years old, I'm rid of that pain. And, the knee pain, it was so bad. We were at our studio in Boca when this happened, and it was my right knee. And if you go back and watch those shows on YouTube when we were at the studio in Boca, a lot of times you'll see me having my hand on a chair on the left. And I had this chair there that I would lean up against to take the weight off of my right knee. I would lean on my left leg and lean against this chair because I was in so much pain. And I just assumed, because I'd suffered with that pain for 30 years, it was just my life, And I went to see Dr. Appleton, and he told me about the laser wave pain treatment, and then boom, the pain's gone. And it's been over 2.5 years, and the pain has not returned to my knee after 30 years of suffering. And he's rid me of pain 6 times on top of that, so 7 in total. His laser wave pain treatment works. There's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no downtime, and no appointment is necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. It's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Michael. What's up?
What does Doug Ford think he's doing? Declaring war on behalf of Canada against the United States.
Yeah.
We don't even have to fire a shot. Not one piece of lead has to fly for us to win that war. All Trump has to do is cut off the funding to Canada. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, I remember I saw an interview on one of the conservative influencers. I can't remember who it was, like a Michael Knowles type. And a lot of the online porn industry is based out of Canada. So maybe President Trump shut down Backpage in his first term, which is where they were advertising all the prostitution worldwide. Maybe he should shut down those porn companies that are based in Canada, streaming that porn into America. That's probably one of the biggest industries that they got. That would be amazing.
Plus, a lot of Hollywood things are filmed in Toronto and Vancouver and
if you look at you look at the movie and television industry that moved to Canada. You know why they moved to Canada?
Taxes.
Well, they don't have the unions. They don't have the Screen Actors Guild up there. And when actors go to Canada for movies and televisions, they don't shows. They don't get residuals like they do in America. So so you're right. Our film and television industry I remember the X-Files moved to Canada, even when that was on TV in the early 90s. Yeah, that's right. All right. Thanks for the call. Mike from Louisiana made some very good points today. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Shut down the porn sites. Yeah. That would do it. That would freak them out. If you're on hold, hang in there. I can't remember the name. It was about a year ago. This conservative girl did this undercover investigation into these porn companies, the big ones, like Parnohub, and they were like based in Canada, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to find. I can't find her name. I was looking for her name. Yeah, Parnohub is a Canadian-owned company. Oh, yeah, that would really get to them. Oh, yeah. I'm going to come back with that. But I can't find the name of that conservative girl. And it was amazing what she did. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. We'll be back in just over 1 minute. This is our top of the hour break on the radio. I think that'd be a great start. Who could come out against that? If Trump shut down Parnohub, who could come out against that? Coming out, the Democrats would have to come out in favor of pornography. We'll be back in less than a minute. 30 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm not sure who it was. I don't remember the name at all. Let me see. I know her if I saw her. No, that's a porn actress. I never heard of that person. I'd know her if I saw her. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. So, Canada is declaring a trade war on the United States, if you're just tuning in, and they're threatening to cut off oil and electricity and even uranium to supply our nuclear power plants from Canada and other things if President Trump doesn't do away with his tariffs. And I just stumbled upon this because I remember there was about a year ago, one of the conservative people like Michael Knowles, I'm not saying it was Michael Knowles, but someone like him, interviewed this conservative girl who's an American who did an undercover story, some type of investigative report on the online porn industry. And I was shocked to learn that it's based out of Canada. And I just looked during the break. I can't remember the name of the girl, so if someone knows who I'm talking about, let me know. But I just looked up. Parnohub is a Canadian company. And Parnohub is the largest online distributor of online pornography on the planet, isn't it? So if they want to have a trade war, what a great idea for President Trump to shut down Parnohub. To stop Parnohub from being able to transmit their pornography into the United States. And I bet you that as big as it is, Parnohub is a big moneymaker for Canada. And could you imagine, Trump shuts down, now in Trump's first term, he shut down Backpage, which is where online prostitution and sex trafficking was being monetized all over the world. And he didn't get any credit for doing that, but it was the largest prostitution sting in the history of the planet Earth. Trump did that early on in his first term. Remember that? If Trump shut down Parnohub, the Canadian pornography online company, that's got to be, I don't know, how much money does that generate? And there's probably some other porn companies based out of Canada for some reason, but that's the big one. If he shut down the online pornography websites from Canada, what would the left do? Would they argue in favor of pornography? Would Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, and Trudeau come out and argue in favor of pornography? Oh, it would be beautiful. And I bet you They pay a lot of money. It's a big money generator for Canada. That seems like a no-brainer. So if anybody is listening, I know the president's not at Mar-a-Lago right now, but if anyone's over at Mar-a-Lago is listening, I'd like. Is that not a great idea? If the president shuts down or Pornhub, you'll know where the idea originated. Right here. Oh, that would be beautiful. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, tonight is going to be something else, man. You know, when you have that Jeffries character, whatever the hell his name is, saying that, we're not going to have protesters. I would bet there's probably going to be protesters there just to be annoying to President Trump. But we'll soon see, man. This is going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be great, because it seems like the country is now, with the liberals and the Canadians, are all trying to make something out of nothing. You know, they have something good, and no matter what it is, they want to make it bad.
Well, I think I've come up with a great thing. So now that Canada has declared a trade war on the United States, and I've uncovered that the largest pornography website is based out of Canada, if President Trump put a 100% tariff on the online porn out of Canada, or maybe even shut it down completely because they're transmitting their filth internationally, that would be beautiful. I'd love to see the Canadians and the Democrats argue in favor of pornography access.
They'll come up with something. It seems like no matter what you do, no matter what, we have a cancer.
I think I've come up with the solution, man. I think I got the solution. We're going to win the trade war in 3 seconds. Hey, Doug, take care. Oh, by the way, yesterday around 11:30 or 12, sometime between 11 and 12, I don't know the exact time, I was on I-95 southbound between Boynton and Boca. And northbound, I saw 2 Secret Service SUVs, and they had motorcycle escorts. It was not the president. It wasn't a big motorcade, but there was a motorcade, and I was, does anyone know who that is? And they were flying down 95 northbound. This was between 11 and 12, 2 Secret Service SUVs, and they had a motorcycle cop in the front and in the back with the sirens on. And I assumed it was like a cabinet member or something. I've never quite seen that. If anybody, and I was kind of curious who that was. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Archie, made in Detroit.
Okay.
And so you got a good topic going there today about Canada, about the Border Patrol.
Now stand by, Mike.
Jacket and all that?
Yeah.
So 25 years old, I'm over trying to buy a Dodge minivan, the Lee Iacocca minivan that came out with back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Pardon?
Yeah, I remember those, the minivans.
Yeah. I got one of the first ones. I didn't get the one I ordered. I ordered a red one. Took a silver one, whatever they could get.
Not too many guys, men do, I'll tell you, men don't like minivans. Men, I'm surprised at the age of 25, you wanted a minivan?
No, back then they were the work trucks. I started a painting business. I was 25
Oh,
years
you would
old,
use it for a work truck. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of men, they don't, the reason, you know why men don't like minivans?
Oh, they wussified them.
Well, when a man gets a minivan and he figures it's advertising to the world that he's no longer available, that he's like, it's like a minivan to a lot of men is like a ball and chain to a woman's ankle. They just don't like it. It's like it's the end of their manhood.
You're going off on a tangent, but this was
going off on a tangent. You're the one calling in about minivans. What does that have to do with anything that's going? It's not open phones today. I give you a break on a non-open phone day, and you're telling me I'm on it. I can't get enough. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Well, I think we've solved the entire trade problem. Oh my goodness. Don't you? I think we've solved the whole thing. All right, now I want to tell you guys that this is really amazing. one man who's gone through just so much because of his support for Trump is Mr. Mike Lindell. And you patriots out there, you know. You know, remember he got raided by the FBI? They confiscated his phone and everything else. But you know, right now, the most incredible, insane deal that Mike Lindell has ever offered is available, okay? At MyPillow.com, with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, not only do you get huge discounts on their top products, the MyPillow slippers, the MyPillow sheets, the MyPillow mattresses, the MyPillow towel sets, all the top MyPillow products, huge discounts. But with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you're also getting free shipping site-wide on every single order. That's right. There's no hidden fees, no gimmicks, just massive savings on pillows, sheets, slippers, and pretty much everything else that you see in the mega sale at MyPillow.com. Now, this free shipping offer will not last forever. So go right now to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, huge savings site-wide, plus free shipping. Huge discounts, free shipping, and that free shipping will end without notice. So go to MyPillow.com and order now. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. That free shipping will end without notice. In fact, I check it every day before I go on the air. They'll call or send me an email, but I still check before I go on the air because I'm just going to go there or get a call and it's going to be gone. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Take advantage, all right, of that incredible deal from Mr. Mike Lindell. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Back right after this. Okay. I think I've come up with it. What do you think? What would the reaction be? Let me see. Let me see here. How much money do they make? I don't know how much the company makes, but if you shut down the Canadian porn industry, that would be crazy. Let's see. I'm trying to find out what their earnings are. $500 million a year as of 3 years ago. It's the 12th most visited site in the world. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I got to do a little math here. Hold on. 31. Okay. What happens is Mike, he tells me what time we're coming back. And from the breaks when I'm at this studio. When I'm at the radio station, I could just hear it. But since I'm not hearing the commercials here, he tells me what time we're coming back. And there's a delay between me and the radio station, and it's 40 seconds. So he tells me the time, and then I've got to figure out the 40 seconds. And sometimes, you know, the time, it's hard to do math when I'm thinking. Okay, so he'll give me these times like 42 after, 27 after. Okay, so we'll be back. Let's see, that's 31. Okay. So we're going to come back at, okay, 10 seconds after. Okay. We'll be back in 1 minute. But I got to do all that math. If you're on hold, hang in there. Well, I don't like doing math when I'm on the air, you know, especially in the morning. I don't like math anyway. What did I say it was the 12th most visited site? Okay, stand by. I think I've hit on a way to win the trade war with Canada. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I have solved, just here on the air, free associating, I have solved the entire trade war. Canada is going to lose the trade war. So I was talking earlier, Canada has declared war on the United States, okay? Let me pull this up. I played this earlier. Let me pull this up. Hold on. This is Doug Ford. He's the premier of I keep saying Canada, of Ontario, which is like the governor of Ontario. He's declaring a trade war on America.
We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky.
So there are a bunch of drunks in Canada, according to Doug Ford.
And Mitch McConnell, don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything. And I don't want to. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it.
Okay, and he goes on. So he's going to shut down the electricity in the middle of winter in Michigan. Nice guy. So I just stumbled across this. The Parnohub, which is the most viewed pornography site on the planet, is based in Canada. And the most recent numbers I could find real quick during the break, there may be some more updated, but as of 2022, so 3 years ago, they were making $500 million for Canada, and it's the 12th most visited website on the planet. It's a Canadian-owned company, Parnohub. So if President Trump either put a 100% tariff on Parnohub or shut down its transmission of its porn to the United States, what impact would that have on the Canadian economy? I wonder, is it one of the biggest Canadian companies? If you were to list the most valuable Canadian companies, where would Parnohub fit at $500 million plus a year? And it's beautiful because then the Democrats and the Canadians are going to have to come out publicly and argue to make porn available. Oh, it'd be beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, man. I hope someone hears this and gets it to the president. I really do. That's a great idea. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? My name's Vinny. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama.
Hey, Vinny.
I'm on the right show. I got kind of sidetracked there with some joker talking about minivans.
I got sidetracked too. I don't know what he was going down memory lane. I mean, he needs to find a girl.
Yeah, man. Stop smoking that Canadian bad stuff up there. He's so close to Canada.
Yeah.
But, speaking of the tariffs, though, man, that's going to be like one of those Tyson fights in the 80s. You know, before.
You mean the ones that I remember? I remember I had a friend. He paid this is when Tyson was the guy, right? A friend of mine got the pay-per-view. It was $50, which is a lot for pay-per-view now. But what year was Tyson the champ, right? So that was a lot of money. It was like $100, and the fights would last like 90 seconds. 90 seconds, you know, knockout.
Right, but I was going to ask you, man, what do you think is going to go on if those Epstein files come out tonight? That's what I'm really waiting on. I'm telling you,
I'm not expecting much of anything in these files. I told you guys, anything that was juicy, the powers that be have taken it to use as blackmail material. You know, they need a senator or a judge to do something, they bring up the tape, you know? So I'm not expecting anything in those files. I'm not saying there won't be new things, but I'm not expecting anything shocking.
Right. So you don't think it's going to be a mad scramble for the liberals tonight?
I don't know. Maybe that'll be President Trump's big reveal, or all the members of the Senate that they have Epstein videos of. That'd be great. I'd like that.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to hear from you. Take care, man. Great call. Oh man, I've had some pretty good calls today, I must say, except for the minivan guy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is John Corner from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've got one question. I'm just curious on that pornography message, and I know that most people in the United States, a lot, are struggling with pornography, and I think it would be a very good idea to just stop the flow of that.
It serves so many purposes, because Canada's declared a trade war. So if we shut down the largest porn site in the world, which is Canadian-based, as part of the trade war, it's there. You're right. There's a big problem with online pornography in this country, but and in the world. But do you think that the Canadian government and the Democrats would come out in favor of reopening the porn? What would they do? What would the reaction be?
That's actually a very funny, I mean, it's serious, but it's a very,
it's beautiful.
It would be also a funny question, I don't know if they would try and, cover it up in a sense, they would try and use other words to make it sound better.
How do you make Pornhub? How do you make Pornhub sound better?
You can't.
Yeah. Oh man. And by the way, there's a lot of reasons to do that, because there's been a lot of accusations about online pornography with the victims, that a lot of the women in these things are victimized in many different ways with this stuff. It would be fun, but there's a legitimate reason it should happen anyway. And a company that big, believe me, it's not the only Canadian porn company. There's got to be a bunch of them. Maybe Al the John will call in. I'm sure he knows all of them. But maybe I'll ask Tom when he calls in. But there's probably others, because that one's been so successful. So I'm serious about this. If the president shut down the Canadian online porn industry into the United States, the Pornhub alone's $500 million as of 3 years ago. Okay, that would be a major economic hit on Canada. It really was. They're making a lot of money off of that. And it's something that they really can't come out and argue in favor of reopening.
Yeah, I definitely agree that would be a good idea to shut it down.
I just stumbled upon that. I mean, I just as we were talking, I think it's a great idea. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. If anyone remembers that conservative investigative journalist, it was a girl. She's an American. And it was 6 months or a year ago, I saw her interviewed on one of the big conservative influencer shows. I can't remember her, which it was like Michael Knowles, somebody like that, interviewed her. And I watched the interview, and that's when I found out that all this stuff was filmed and done or transmitted, whatever you do, on the internet from Canada. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford. How are you?
Hey, Bill. What do you think about my shutting down the Canadian porn industry transmissions into the United States as part of the trade war? I think that's just a great idea.
Absolutely. I listened to a documentary, or I watched on YouTube. I'm retired and I watch a lot of YouTube. And this gal was forced into sex slavery through what appeared to be legitimate, either getting a job or being a model. And then they kidnapped her and put her on drugs. And she was saying that these gals that were drugged, she says, all of them were filmed by Pornhub.
Oh, yeah, there's been some talk about that, yeah. That's what this one journalist was about. It was a female conservative investigative journalist, and she was married, and she was talking about how it was uncomfortable for her because she did investigating. She went to Canada. And maybe this will help you guys look it up. I mean, if I wasn't on the air, I could probably find it in a few minutes, but I can't spend my time trying to find her. She went undercover, not doing porn, but she went on dating sites in Canada so she could meet up with people that worked for these companies. So and then she, kind of like those Project Veritas things, see. She did something like that, except on the Canadian porn industry. And she put herself on these dating apps in Canada. And I remember she was talking about it was a little uncomfortable because she's married and all of this. But I can't remember her name because, and the reason I like to know is maybe I'd set her up on the show to talk about it because it's relevant now. It
was a sad story. I mean, it didn't show her picture, but she was explaining, of course, not in detail at all, but explaining how they drug these young girls.
What do you think the Democrat and the Canadian reaction would be if the president shut down the Canadian porn industry transmitting into the United States? Would they come out and in favor of pornography or not? What would they do? It's a big company.
Well, if they tie it to being sex slaves, then I don't think they would come out for it. But if you just say pornography, I mean, I always thought pornography was consensual. I didn't know there was sex slaves.
No one is in sex. Don't believe the movies. No one's in sex work because they want to be. Okay, they have nothing else to do. They have nowhere else to go. That's it. All the women are victims. Don't let any of them tell you they're not. Not that you would talk to such ladies. All right, but
she was.
Yeah. All right, I got to run. But I think we've stumbled upon something. But if anyone knows the name of this conservative investigative journalist that I'm referencing, let me know because I think I'd like to get her on the show, and we can find out what the Canadians are doing. And I'll tell you. Everyone knows how destructive online pornography is in this country, okay, and the world. And it's really a form of an attack on our country, Canada having this industry based up there. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. My name's Brian Craig. Back right after this. All right, 30 seconds, guys. If you're on hold, hang tight. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Okay, so we've solved the trade war. I'll go back to the phones, and we'll get into some more things. My name is Brian, and, of course, our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Oh, it's one of those days, guys.
Yeah, yep, you're going to wear that ice jacket. If you're going to wear the ice jacket, you got to have Joyce Kaufman with you for protection.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's the part where I'm supposed to laugh?
You're going to be a victim in about 15 seconds in Broward.
Where?
Yeah. You're going to be a victim for about like 15. The first 15 seconds you walk around Broward with that, you're going to be a victim.
Broward?
That's okay.
Broward? What's Broward?
Make fun of my accent. So what? Oh, big deal.
Yeah. No, you're doing a good job making fun of yourself. All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. That guy's a chronic from the past. You know, a lot of times, a lot of the chronics, we don't hear from them, and I just assume that they have passed away. All right, so, I think we've got that settled. I'll bring it up with Steve when Steve joins us, since it involves pornography. Maybe it'll be interesting. Okay, so, oh, my God. You know, it's so interesting. I spend hours, and that was Elmer Fudd, the voice of Elmer Fudd. When you're in Florida, okay, everybody retires here. You never know who you're talking to. And obviously, the voice of Elmer Fudd just calls. AOC is running scared. Have you seen this? I'm going to play a clip. She did an interview with Public Radio, and she's been instructing federal fugitives from justice on how to evade capture. And she's actually sending a letter, or she already sent it by this time, to the Justice Department to find out if they're investigating her. So listen to this. This is AOC on NPR.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents.
Okay, so apparently her constituents are illegal aliens. Okay, I'll play the rest of this. But so she's in trouble in her own mind. She's really nervous that she may be arrested. And the reason she's worried or prosecuted or indicted, the reason AOC is concerned is these workshops, she was instructing federal fugitives on how to evade capture, how to obstruct federal law enforcement and not get arrested, all these things. Those are crimes. You become an accessory. When you give help to a fugitive, you are committing a felony yourself. Aiding and abetting, whatever. They got all kinds of crimes for that. And if you take migrant and change the word migrant to bank robber, right? If you put on a workshop for bank robbers and you were instructing bank robbers how to evade arrest from federal authorities, how to obstruct federal agents when they come to arrest you, and you have all these bank robbers come into your workshop, you've committed a crime. I knew a guy, I shouldn't have stopped this, okay? I should have let this guy do it. I didn't realize it until after, okay? There was a guy that I worked with at another radio station, and he had this idea. He was going to do a show on how to steal an armored truck, right? And have people call in with their ideas. And I said, are you out of your mind? You can't do a show with calls on how to steal an armored truck full of money. That's against the law. You can't do that. I should have let him do it. I shouldn't have said anything. But I wasn't thinking. When he told me, I was in such shock. Well, AOC's been doing that, but for real, right? Come on, you federal fugitives by the millions. I got a workshop on how to escape federal agents. I've got a workshop where I'm going to instruct your friends and family on how they can distract the federal agents when they come to arrest you. And I'm going to give you an escape plan. That's a crime. Yeah. Or being a Democrat.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents.
Illegal aliens.
I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents.
Okay, now this interview, I love this interview. This is beautiful. And if you listen to AOC, what she's doing is she's about as smart as a burned out light bulb. I mean, she's just an idiot, right? She's got the mind of a chipmunk. Chipmunks are smarter than AOC. Remember when she didn't know how to use a garbage disposal and she was so amazed she made a video and put it on Instagram about it? The answers that she's giving in this NPR interview are answers she was instructed to give by an attorney, right? These are lawyer answers, and she's not a lawyer, okay? So the fact that she's giving lawyer answers to these questions, to me, tell me she's very worried about being indicted, arrested, prosecuted, something, okay? That she's giving lawyer answers, that she went so far as to consult legal counsel. And the purpose of the interview is, it sounds to me, is also AOC working to establish publicly on the record that she, wasn't helping criminals.
I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally.
That's right.
Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents. Yeah.
He said he was going to report you, or even that he did reach out to the Department of Justice.
Yep.
Have you heard from the Department of Justice?
It's a crime, AOC.
I have not, and I intend on reaching out to the Department of Justice to inquire.
Really? What would your question be for the Department of Justice?
Well, there is a member of the Trump administration who is threatening and seeks to open an inquiry. And are you going to do it?
I love it.
What would you learn? What do you hope to learn from that exchange?
I think it's important to know where this administration stands and if they intend on using political intimidation to silence their critics.
Critics, okay. She's an accessory with federal fugitives from justice. Oh, this is amazing. I'll throw this out to you guys. Does AOC sound like she's nervous? I think she thinks she's scared. This lawlessness that's been going on these last few years, who would have imagined in the liberal circles that Trump would be back? So they've been doing all these things that are immoral, unethical, and illegal, and now Trump's back. Daddy's home, and they're nervous because they didn't think there would ever be anyone holding them accountable for their crimes. All right, we're going to take... I love it. Trump even has AOC scared. Homan has AOC scared. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We'll be right back. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We'll be right back. Hear how long the delay is? It's a long delay, isn't it? Okay. We'll be back in 1 minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, Steve will be joining us after the top. Oh. Let me ask, yes or no in the chat. Does AOC sound scared? I think she does. Those are lawyer answers. Lawyer answers. Every one of them. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. 8 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We've uncovered so much on the program today. Oh, man. Steve's going to be very upset that he missed that whole dialogue about pornography. But maybe I'll recap it, and we'll go over it with Steve. But a lot has happened, and I'll take some calls. I'll recap some of the things we talked about, because we talked about a lot of serious things on the program today. And maybe, you know, a lot of you may think the porn discussion is comical, but no, this is a real deal. I mean, you know, the damage that's being done to our great country by Canada really has not been understood by the American people. It really hasn't. It's happened so slow and over such a period of time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. All right.
Hi, good morning.
Yep.
I just wanted to make I have a question. Did AOC admit by saying after her comment that she admitted that that's what she did?
She said she used a very legalese lawyer answer. She was speaking to all of her constituents. Now, constituents, that's anyone that lives in your district. So a constituent can be a drug dealer, right? So you're not, just because someone's your constituent, it does, you understand what I mean? It was a very legalese answer and a little too smart for that bird brain.
Yeah, but the bird brain answer she put after was she said, Doesn't that confirm that that's what she did when she said,
Well, we know what she was doing. She did that interview, my guess would be, on public radio as a defense. She sounds like she's really nervous. Like, I wonder, here's the thing with I learned this from watching ID, the detectives. I love watching those interrogations with the detectives on ID. When they show the real interrogation. And I've seen detectives say many times, we don't have any evidence, but criminals always think you know everything. So they get nervous and they start talking because they think you know everything when you may know nothing. And AOC is really, truly in a panic that she's going to be facing charges from helping illegals. So I'm wondering how deep she is into it. What was she really up to? All right, appreciate the call. I mean, that's a very unusual way for her to speak. What the president's big announcement is, he said he has something big tonight. We don't really know what it is. It could be a peace agreement to end the Ukraine war with Putin. It could be the U.S. pulling out of NATO. It could be a major tax break. It could be introducing the no tax on tip legislation. It's the possibilities of something big are endless, and we could probably troll for calls, and people could call in from now until 9 o'clock. Every caller could give a different answer, and we'd all still be wrong. We really don't know. It's very vague, but it's very exciting. But one thing he already announced is he is suspending funding to Ukraine. And the Democrats, of course, because they're corrupt and getting money off of it, they're just acting like lunatics over this. Because like with the USAID funding being exposed, this is another one of their money trains that's being brought to a halt, and they're in a panic over this. And as I was talking about yesterday, I've never seen Democrats or anyone in the United States hold demonstrations in favor of war. Usually the protests are to stop a war. I've never seen protests to keep a war going. Have you? Very strange. But 60 Minutes interviewed this Democrat, Senator King, and he's saying a lot of the nonsense that a lot of Democrats are saying. Listen.
When the United States sided with Russia and North Korea at the United Nations, what message did that send?
Well, the first message it sent to me was shame.
Senator Angus King is an independent from Maine, serving on the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees.
Independently Democrat.
I always try to think of, what's the argument on both sides? I cannot think of a rational argument for pulling our support from Ukraine.
Senator King likes to point out that Europe has given more than the U.S., and Ukraine has given the most.
They've done the dying. All they've asked for us is to send them the means to defend themselves.
In this moment, what should Congress be doing about Ukraine?
I think they have to start speaking up, because if we persist in walking away from Ukraine, it will be the greatest geopolitical mistake that this country's made since World War II.
Okay, so the standard that the Democrats have is the war cannot end until Russia is defeated. That's never going to happen, okay? First off, Russia is a huge country with a nuclear arsenal, by the way. A huge country. Ukraine is small in comparison to Russia. How are you going to defeat Russia? And what kind of standard is that? I thought that the stated goal was to repel them from Ukraine. Now it's to what they have changed the end goal, whatever it is. Before it was to push Russia out of that Donbass region. I got to say it slow because I don't want to misspeak what it sounds like. I think there's only one S on it. Now it's regime change and to defeat Russia. What they're talking about doing is Ukraine conquering Russia and taking over Russia. That's an insane goal that's never going to happen. If that is your criteria to end the war, it's never going to end. All right, let's take some more calls. Hold on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Joanne from Tamarack.
Hey, Joanne. Hey, how you doing?
I've got a question. The CHIPS Act that went through with Biden, what did that cost us money, and what does that have to do with President Trump and the CHIPS?
I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what the connection would be and what it would mean, but this is what I know. President Trump brought another company into the United States that's investing, what is it, $100 billion with a B dollars to build microchips in the United States. I mean, who could be against that? You know, what we learned.
I'm not against it, but I'm wondering if we even needed that CHIPS Act.
Oh,
President Trump did it on his own.
That's right.
His tariff.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate the call. You know, I was talking about this earlier. When have you ever seen a president of the United States hold press conferences and have people from other countries bringing money into our country? Usually they have a press conference with someone from another country and they're giving them billions of dollars. Trump has a press conference and we get billions every time. Now, I got an announcement to make today. I have achieved, and I weighed myself this morning, I have achieved my weight loss goal. You know, when I first met with Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, he said, what do you want to do? How much weight do you want to lose? And I said, I said, we got our cruise on March 30th. I'd like to lose 25 pounds by then. Here we are, the 4th of March. I achieved my goal. So I got a decision to make today. Do I stay where I am at my stated goal? Which, by the way, I didn't think I could reach it in time, because it was. And Dr. Zuckerman, he said, no problem. You'll hit it. It's not a problem. March 30th, that's plenty of time. And it's much more than plenty of time, as I'm learning now. So the decision I got to make now is, am I going to keep going or staying where I am? I don't know. But I know this, that I've never been on any type of weight loss plan. The only thing I've ever done is like, okay, I'm not going to have soda this weekend or something. I'm not going to have that piece of pie. I've never really tried to slim down ever before. And this is the first time I did it. And I was a little nervous about it because I thought I was going to be hungry all the time. I didn't think it was going to be possible, and I really didn't want to go on the air and tell you guys my goal and then not be able to. I'd never been on anything like this before. And boom, easy. No struggling. I did 0 exercise, no steps, no nothing. Nothing. And not hungry all the time. And it's just amazing. So I'm going to give you the number to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. Dr. Zuckerman, he'll take good care of you. And I don't know, I'll decide today or tomorrow what I'm going to do. I know now I had to put a second extra hole I had to add to my belt over the weekend. And I haven't tried on my suit. I have suits and things that I only wear once a year on the cruises. So I got to try them on. Because I might have to get. I've added 2 holes to my belt. Okay, and that's crazy. Just in the last couple weeks. So I don't know how my cruise. I might have to take my cruise clothes in, my suits, and have the pants fixed because they're going to be falling off. And I definitely going to buy a new belt. Here's the number: 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. coastalweightlossecret.com. All right? Okay. So Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour. I am going to recap some of what we talked about, which was the major news that Pam Bondi dropped on the Epstein files and the trade wars with Canada. There's a few other things we've got to cover too, but those are the 2 biggest news stories of today, and we will cover those. Also, I did not see any updates on these planes that they scrambled the fighter jets for on Saturday at Mar-a-Lago. Did you? No, I've not, and I've been looking. I haven't seen any updates on that. So if anybody has any updates on that, let me know, because I can't find any. But I'm going to recap with Steve the Epstein updates and the Canadian trade war story and a couple of other things. And I know Steve probably has a couple things he wants to bring up as well. And we'll take your calls at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. But the Bondi story, Pam Bondi, I'm not one of these people that's always talking about Jeffrey Epstein. It's for a lot of reasons. Some of it is because before he was a nationally known figure and scandalous, he was in court in Palm Beach, it seemed like forever. And our local news forever was covering Epstein before you guys even heard of him. And by the time it became a national story, Epstein, I was so sick and tired of hearing about Jeffrey Epstein. And people here in South Florida that remember those days, oh my goodness, it was weird, and it was just non-stop. But the other reason I've not been so into the Epstein story is because I have the belief that there's nothing in the files of substance, that anything in the files with any famous people or famous politicians, household name types, that the deep state took those materials and used it for blackmail, right? If there's some case in front of a federal judge and that judge isn't going the way they want it to go, they just remind them of that Epstein, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Or a senator or a House member or a governor or one of these ex-presidents or a future president, who knows? That's where that stuff's at. So I don't expect much from the Epstein files. However, Pam Bondi announced last night on Hannity that the Southern District of New York handed over all of the files at 8 a.m. on Friday. And it was a truckload of files. How big of a truck? We don't know. but an entire truck full, it could be, I don't know if it was a pickup truck or a U-Haul. I don't know. But she said a truckload of Epstein documents, thousands and thousands of pages arrived Friday morning at 8 a.m. And Kash Patel has a team going through all of them because they do have to retract or black out all the victims' information. And there's a lot of victims. So that's good news for these people that have been giving Pam Bondi such a hard time. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. All right, I got to call you after the show, too, okay? All right. Oh, no, you got to take it off of that. Yep, that's better. Yep. All right, you there? Yeah, okay, you there? Okay. Not that I know of. All right, I'm going to put you on the speaker. We got about a little less than a minute. All right, hold on. All right, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, stand by. We'll be back shortly. All right, 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. The third hour has begun of Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane on the line. Hey, Steve.
Good morning to you.
Oh, man. So we solved all of the country's problems already today, so we don't have much left in this hour, since in the first two we solved
well.
I'll
go back to bed.
No. Well, I had a couple things I was going to recap with you, unless you had somewhere you wanted to go.
No, go ahead.
Okay, the one thing, and this, I know a lot of people think this is funny, and I understand the humor in it, but it's a true thing. Okay, so as of midnight, the import tax, the tariff increases just happened with Canada and Mexico, right? The Trump tariffs are in place. Right. And of course, the media and the Democrats are having meltdowns. And I really enjoy, I've never heard Democrats argue against a tax before, right? They always tell us there's not enough taxes. And now all of a sudden they're arguing in favor of a tax. And the argument they give is like Reaganomics, right? If taxes are not paid by the person, by the company being taxed or the person being taxed, they're passed on to the consumer. So they keep telling us this now. But Canada has threatened a hardcore trade war against the United States. And Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, his brother was that mayor of Toronto. I think it was Toronto that was a crackhead. Remember that guy? It was like 10 years ago.
No, but that's all right.
Yeah, his brother was a crackhead mayor, and he was literally on crack. He was like Marion Barry, but white. And I think he's passed away. And I think he was the mayor of Toronto. But anyway, the premier of Ontario says that Ontario provides the power for the electricity in the northeastern United States, Michigan, and he listed a whole bunch of states. And he is threatening to shut down the electricity to Michigan, New York, and other northern states if Trump does not remove these import taxes, these tariffs. Now, of course, that's deadly because it's wintertime. Here in Florida, it's going to be in the 80s today, right? But in Michigan, you could, if you don't have electricity, you could die. If you're elderly, children, you could die, right? So they've declared a trade war, and he used the word war. And I found something out, coincidentally, during the course of the discussion that might be a good avenue for Trump to hit Canada. I found out that the top internet pornography websites stream out of Canada. Pornhub. Pornhub. It is the 12th most visited website in the world. More people visit Pornhub than go to Amazon. I was reading during the break earlier, okay? As of 3 years ago, it was earning $500 million a year, and it may be in the top 20 largest companies in all of Canada. So if President Trump either put a 100% tariff on Canadian online pornography or shut down them streaming their pornography into the United States totally, that would be such an economic hit to Canada. I don't think people realize. It's huge. It is huge. And it really puts the Canadian government and the Democrats in a bind because you think the Democrats will come out in favor of pornography if Trump shuts it down?
Well, you know, I'm not the one to ask on this because I don't know a lot about the internet.
You know about pornography, and you know.
Yes. I knew that. I sensed that's where you're going with it. But
no. I'm kidding. No. Everybody knows about pornography, but listen, online pornography is one of the biggest online businesses. Okay, and it's not just in the United States but throughout the world. And
I haven't seen internet porn in, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, well,
is it still the same as it used to be?
I don't know, Steve. Maybe Tom or Al the John can call and let us know. They're probably experts on it. But the thing about it is this: the internet pornography. I don't have to tell you guys. Everybody knows the damages that it's done to the country. But if Canada has launched a trade war on the United States, they announced this yesterday. All right. And Trump's tariffs are, remember, he says reciprocal tariffs. Whatever the country's tariff is on us will be what ours is. So if Canada has a 10% tariff on a product, ours will be 10% on them. If it's 40% on us, ours will be 40% on them. How could you be? Why is that Trump's fault? Maybe if they lower their tariffs, then theirs will go down, right? You know, so that's the way it is. But there, you know, when you start a trade war with the United States, Canada's not going to be able to win this. I mean, it's going to be over before it begins. They have a very tiny population. Almost all of their industry is for the sole export to the United States. And that's it. they don't have enough people to maintain they don't have an auto industry. They've stolen ours through NAFTA, right? They stole ours. They don't have a large enough population to support their industry. They're going to lose it. But the Democrats and the left are spending their days attacking Trump. And the thing about the pornography, if Trump shut down or put a 100% tariff on the Canadian pornography industry, which is the largest online pornography companies in the world by far, it would be very difficult for the Canadian leaders and the Democrats and the pundits on CNN and the pundits on MSNBC argue in favor of porn. And
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. It's a beautiful idea. Now tonight, President Trump's addressing Congress, and he said yesterday he's got something big. Do you have any idea what it might be? Because I've seen nothing leak out.
I don't know. I thought as I was preparing earlier in the privacy of my the Kane suite over here, I saw some story about Israel and the release of the rest of the hostages, but I've been trying to run it down and I can't find it anymore.
I know they're talking about it and they want them to release the rest of the hostages, but I haven't heard them.
I have this weird feeling. I heard that they've done it.
Not that I've seen.
But I can't confirm the story. Maybe somebody in our audience.
I'm looking through the news as we're talking. I see nothing. I'm on all the websites. Nope. Nothing.
It's pretty bizarre.
Nothing. So
pretty bizarre. Meanwhile, the Zelensky is the thing you want to talk about. I think. I mean, the big problem that nobody's really speaking to, as far as Zelensky goes, they're underestimating the fact that he's nuts. He's unreliable. We can't. This thing is not going to work out with Zelensky.
No.
You got to hope that somebody on the inside
well, I saw.
Get rid of him.
I don't know the guy's name, okay? Because I don't follow all these Ukrainians over there, okay? But apparently, there's a guy who's very, very popular in Ukraine, who's expressed some interest in being the new president, and he's a boxer, a Ukrainian fighter of some kind. You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of what you're talking about. Also, remember, the world champion was heavyweight champion was he Ukrainian or Russian?
It's the same thing to me.
The two, Klitschko,
I don't know. You're talking about
mayor,
sports.
He's the mayor of a city.
I'm not sure, but what you're saying is true though, and this started on Friday. They're talking about replacing him. In fact, I was listening to some liberals yesterday talking about what's going on in Ukraine, and they were surprised that I was watching. Meghan McCain has a show online, and she was interviewing some Democrat, and they were surprised that Zelensky's still president, that over the weekend they didn't change presidents. I don't know what the vice president...
He's not a rational player.
Well,
that's why Don's usual, approach to these things is impeccable, but I think he's used to dealing with sane people. This Zelensky, first of all, I hear he's very unpopular, Zelensky, and there are people out there that might be out to do him in if they have the opportunity.
Well, they need it.
From his side.
He lied to President Trump. He had no intention on signing that mineral deal on Friday. He had no intention on it, and he lied to get the White House event. Whoever convinced him, whether it was those Democrats or the Ukrainian oligarchs that are behind him, I don't know. But someone convinced him.
You know what the bottom line on this whole thing is? Trump is not going to prolong this war. Trump is out. I mean, he might as well have said it in those words. I mean, he's not going to continue. He's not going to continue to give Zelensky anything.
No.
And I don't know that Zelensky can deal with that.
Zelensky doesn't have any credibility without the United States backing him up. Remember,
exactly.
Trump said you don't have the cards.
Exactly.
You don't have the cards.
Zelensky doesn't know that.
That's right, because he's believing his own hype.
Exactly right.
Yeah. You know, I checked just a few minutes ago. The free shipping with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, is still in effect at mypillow.com. And there's no minimum orders. Okay, there's no matter how small the order is, you can order the least expensive item, which I think you can get a pair of MyPillow socks, Steve, for like $3 and something. No matter how small the order, it's free shipping site-wide. Plus, with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Plus, you get the special discount. And the mega sale's going on right now. Some of the lowest prices I've ever seen on the MyPillow towels, the sheets, the pillows, the pet beds. You'll see throughout the website with our promo code Kane at checkout, huge savings site-wide, as well as free shipping. And the free shipping offer will end without notice. That's why I checked it. I checked it right before I went on the air, and then I checked it again during the break as well. Now they typically will call me or email me, but because we're on so early in the morning, I might not get. And they're on Central Time at Mike Lindell's headquarters, so I might not get the notice until after the show. So I keep checking during the show. The free shipping will end without notice. I'm surprised it's been going on this long. And that, of course, is with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take our first break of the third hour. If you'd like to call in, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, is here. You back with us, Steve?
I'm with you.
Okay, so
tonight's going to be quite a night.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing.
We could spend all day trying to guess what he's going to do, and would be wrong. I think
the big thing is what everybody else is going to do. The Democrats are going to behave like AHs, and they're going to be very vociferous and very obnoxious, and further alienate what little constituency they have left.
Well, there's a lot of talk that they may not show up. I don't know.
Some of them. And then the rest of the talk is that they may show up and make themselves obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's take some of these calls. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi,
Brian,
Steve. How are you today?
Good.
Well, I think Canada kind of got caught here, and I think they're just trying maybe to save face with threatening us with a trade war. I mean, Brian, you're absolutely right. There's no There's no way they can win that in a million years. But I think they just didn't know what to do, and they said, okay, well, we're going to reciprocate against the U.S. That's not going to work. I mean, not even close.
Trump's finished. Trump's finished with that.
Yeah.
But they don't hear that. They're not hearing that.
Well, I think they're being a little irrational, just a little bit irrational.
Well, you know what it is.
More than a little.
You know what? When you talk about Canada, Zelensky and Canada, they both have an overinflated idea of their importance in the world. Canada has been on America's coattails since 1776. All right, and they're not really a independent country. Their whole industry is based around being able to export to the United States. I was talking about this in the first hour. Steve, I'm sure you watched this with your kids when they were little. You ever see that show, How It's Made?
What's the name of the show?
How It's Made. And I used to watch this with my daughter when she was little. And it shows you factories, how they manufacture goods. Everything you could imagine. Motorcycle helmets, baseball gloves, front door mats, candy. And it was a Canadian show. And almost every instance was a factory in Canada. And it was, except for one episode where they were making those curling stones, that curling thing they do in Canada. Every other episode was showing a Canadian factory making something that we use in the United States. And I remember even then I would watch that show and I'm like, why are we making, like Staples, Whiteout, all this stuff. Not that anyone uses Whiteout anymore. It's all made in Canada because Bill Clinton's NAFTA. And Trump wants a trade war, so those companies will move back here and make their staples in America.
Well, they've gotten themselves into a predicament now. Canada, they're going to have to walk that back, I think. You mentioned that the mayor who was on crack in Canada.
Yeah,
I remember seeing a 60-minute. I think it was a 60-minute piece on that where they kind of followed him around and profiled him. I mean, he seemed like a nice enough guy. He just had a major drug problem.
But a nice guy for a druggie, and he was,
for a druggie,
But you know what? You know why they used to cover him so much? Not because he was a crackhead. He was the mayor, I want to say, of Toronto.
Yeah, a big city. I think it was a fairly big city.
Yeah, the reason they covered it is because he was a conservative, and he was on crack.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were using it because he was a conservative.
Yeah, they were following him around the streets and everything. It was kind of I kind of felt sorry for the guy actually, but
he's dead now.
That piece that they had.
Well, his brother is the one threatening to cut off the electricity to Michigan and northern New York in the wintertime.
Okay. Well, they don't have a strong hand in this. Like Trump says, they don't have any cards to play, and that's just kind of what the situation is.
Yeah.
And tonight it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be must-see
What
TV.
do you think about my idea of Trump shutting down the Canadian porn industry? Which the significance of it is that the number one most watched online pornography website in the world is based out of Canada. It's one of their biggest companies. It's got to be in the top 15 or 20 biggest companies.
Well, like you pointed out, Brian, on our point, it's a great tactical move. On their point, it's something they can't defend.
No.
So they're caught. I mean, what are they going to? They don't really. They just don't have cards to play, and that's one of them. They're going to be the defenders of porn now. Is that what they're going to stand for?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He knows he has them, and he knows he's had them from day one. So now he's got to. They just got to recalibrate their position in this and come to an agreement. And, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Good to talk to you, Brian.
Absolutely. Have a great one, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. We've had some exceptional calls today, Steve, I must say. We've had some pretty good calls. All right. Let me take another one here. Let's go. You're on the.
Hey.
Oh,
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm on the air.
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with you, and you are just be quiet for a minute.
Oh.
I am so incensed and so furious about what you said about pornography, because what you should do is shut the damn stuff down, and I will tell you why. Do you know that the therapy groups, the church groups dealing with pornography addiction are larger now than alcoholism? Do you know how many men have quit working have bankrupted their families, destroyed their children, and are using that money to look at and buy pornography.
Okay.
Do you know how many women are
I know.
Let me finish this.
All right, oh my goodness.
Because one of the things that you could do, because you have the public ear, is say, yeah, they might shut down pornography, but gosh, wouldn't that be a good thing instead of what it is doing to this country? To the men in this country? My husband is a porn addict.
Take a breath.
This needs to stop.
Take a breath. I have a question
I'm
for
breathing.
you. It sounds to me, and I'm just throwing this out, but it sounds to me like this is a personal issue with you. It sounds to me like
it's not. Well, it is personal with me, but I'll tell you this. Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of women are in groups with me that are discussing this? Hundreds of thousands of women who are in trouble and in therapy and in trauma because of this.
Be gone. One.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It sounds to me like your life has been touched in some way negatively by pornography. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. That's why I know so much about it.
She said her husband's got an addiction.
Hold on. That's why what I would like to do, if you would be kind enough to share with us, I'd be interested personally in hearing the negative things that you have experienced because of pornography, because I can hear the pain in your voice.
I told you Steve would like porn talk.
Well, I can tell you that. I'm in therapy for 1.5 years after 44 years of marriage when I discovered, number one. Number two, he no longer works. He no longer does anything. He lives with his mother. He looks at pornography, and he plays with his you-know-what. That's his life. And there are millions of women, millions, who have husbands who have become addicted to pornography. And look up neuroplasticity and what it does to your brain. Please do. That the therapy groups and the church groups dealing with pornography are now larger than alcoholism. There are Ethnon groups for women. There are therapy groups for women. But wait. And the therapists are. Let me finish, please.
Oh, now we know why he turned to porn, Steve. Oh my goodness.
Let me finish. The therapists don't know how to treat the women for the trauma of finding out that they're, and not only that, but
listen, lady. Wait, caller, calm down a little bit, okay?
The point of this
oh my
call
goodness.
is this.
Oh my goodness.
There's a point to the call, and then I'll let you speak.
Oh, she's going to let us speak.
Okay, I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
Isn't that nice? Now we understand why he turned to porn now, Steve. Oh my goodness. You're building sympathy for your disgusting husband.
Really, I'm afraid so.
Listen, lady,
Go ahead, man.
you had said you had a bone. Well, see, we're up against the break. We're up against the break.
You have the public ear. You have a radio station with the public ear.
Yes.
This is, and when you talk about pornography from Canada, frankly, were they to shut it down, it would be a boon for America. It would be a wonderful thing if American men can't get the pornography that they're getting from Pornhub.
I think what you missed is that I was suggesting Trump shut it down.
Oh boy.
So I don't know why you're upset with us.
Should.
All right.
I'm not.
All right, listen, we got to run for the break, but I got to tell you, I never thought
there was a great story there, but I couldn't calm her down enough to let her tell it coherently.
She's done something that's a very difficult thing to do. I think she may have garnered support and sympathy for her pornography-addicted husband because, I mean, my goodness, I mean, the way you think she was like that before? All right.
Well, she's right, though. It's a terrible thing, and it affected a lot of people.
No, everything she said's right. Everything she said is correct. Yes, I agree. I agree with her, and I'm sorry to make fun of her because it's a terrible thing she went through, and she's definitely got a loser of a husband.
You can tell she's traumatized, terribly traumatized.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to put you on. We're going to take our break for the bottom. Callers on hold, stand by. It's a Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian. Back after this. listen, we gotta run for the break. But I gotta tell you, I never thought All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're on hold, hang on. Ugh. All right, back in 1 minute. Steve, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, be back in 1 minute. Oh my goodness! I wish she would have calmed down so we could have talked. That would have been a great call.
I'm gonna pick up where we left off.
All right, everybody can hear you on YouTube, so yeah, that would have been a great call if she would have relaxed a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll tease her back.
I got 30 seconds. All right, 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, and of course, Steve Kane is here. Oh man, that last call, Steve, would have been like a classic call if she could have relaxed.
I want to talk to that woman for a second here. If she's listening on the radio, I think the points you were making were good points, and I wish, as Brian says, you could have calmed down a little bit, because I think there are people that relate to the issue that you're concerned with, and I think if we could have had a more even less frantic discussion about it, I think it could be helpful to people. If you ever want to call back and we'll talk about it in greater detail and take turns.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd love to do that, and I'd be willing to share, because as Brian knows, I've had my run-ins with the topic before.
You know, Steve, but, I want to tell people why this came up. This is, it's a serious topic. One of the most, there's a lot of destructive things that are going on in our society, okay? And one of them is, back in your day, Steve, for the porn, you had to go to those theaters that you park behind the bill. The internet pornography is one of the most destructive forces in American society. Okay, everybody knows.
Uncle Neil used to go to do his thing.
The gay ones. Or no. Oh, no. Remember, he got arrested in the straight one. That's why he was so embarrassed. He was in a straight pornography movie. But anyway, everybody knows the destruction of internet pornography. We don't have to go everybody knows. And you could hear the passion in that lady's voice. But with this trade war with Canada, the number one online pornography website is a Canadian company based in Canada. And I found out about it quite by accident. There was a conservative girl who's with one of those conservative publications like Breitbart, one of those kind of things. She went undercover exposing it because there was some concern about consent and the age of some of the women in the videos, you know what I mean? And she went to Canada to do it. And they want to have a trade war. It's Parnohub. They're one of the largest companies in all of Canada. And if they want to have a trade war with us, and they're threatening to shut off electricity during the winter in our coldest states like Michigan, if President Trump either put a 100% tariff on their internet porn or shut it down completely, it would have a devastating economic impact. Canada's doing a lot of damage to this country, and that's a big attack on us. And it's one of those things that if he shut it down, what's going to happen? Trudeau and the Democrats are going to come out in favor of pornography? I think they'd have a difficult time doing that. Although with the Trump derangement syndrome, they might. And it's one of those things that President Trump could do that's the right thing to do, and also is a no-lose situation for him because the Democrats are in a no-win situation trying to come out against that one. All right. Do you want to take some more calls?
Yes.
All right, let's go. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Tom, Florida. Good morning, Steve. Brian. Okay. Hey, yesterday I was definitely distraught due to the conversation that we were having because
I don't remember it.
Steve, I just couldn't wrap my head around how Russia goes over to Ukraine and we kind of did a 360 and
360
it's all Ukrainian and Zelensky now.
A 360 means we have the same position. We've gone full circle and we're back where we began. You mean a 180?
See, I just got up 180.
A 180.
Let's
okay.
not pick that to be this topic disruptor.
Okay.
So with that being said, sir, I am just saying with that,
You're stuttering.
Are you okay?
You're
watching? Are you laughing?
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you.
Because I was wondering if you were literally laughing or if I was talking. I didn't know what you were doing.
I'm laughing at you because you're talking.
Okay,
you sound hysterical. Something's off with you.
Hysterical.
This is not your normal self. You sound nervous.
Brian, I am not nervous, nor am I hysterical.
Okay.
If you call this normal or hysterical, you need to get your ear checked, pal. Okay?
Okay. All right, go on.
So all I'm saying is, Steve, I used to appreciate how you used to come with a different point of view. You used to be against the whole, Putin thing, and you realized that Russian tyranny and Putin basically killing off his, counterparts for whatever purposes
calm down for a second. Will you calm down for a second?
Calm. Stop telling me that I am not.
So
okay?
hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on. So what I'm trying to ask you is, what is the point you're trying to make?
The point is that you seem to have now basically you've just taken this whole position now. You're like, forget the whole Russian thing that you had right the first time.
What position have
you
I
used
taken?
to think Russia was a bad idealism. Like, you used to think like, okay, this isn't the right thing.
Oh, I think Russia's
the other thing, Brian used to just keep spitting, MAGA, anything for Trump.
Can you take a breath? Take a breath.
Take
a breath. Just take a deep breath. Deep breath.
And I'll rub my earlobes for you too, Steve. Why don't you get out your question now, okay? Before you start back like a old fool.
My question to you is, what is this thing you got with Brian that you're so threatened by him when he tries to ask you a question.
You see, you ready for this?
He's attracted to me, Steve. He's attracted to me. He's got
Okay.
the hots for me. He's got a crush.
Yes, Brian, that laugh, forget about it. Who wouldn't make any woman melt?
I just lost 25 pounds.
See, well, you don't want... All right, Brian, God bless you. I know it ain't from walking around because you're always sitting talking. So listen.
That's right. No exercise.
To answer your question, I am saying that, Steve, you used to be against Brian with this situation, okay?
Ukraine.
You used to have a position of Russia being bad and Ukraine being the people who were invaded and who were basically the ones who were living freedom lives.
Yeah, but that's before I
Russia.
realized. I mean, what you're saying about Russia is correct. What you're saying about Russia is correct. What you're leaving out is but what you're leaving out is what I've learned in the interim is that Zelensky is out of his mind.
Yes, like
and
you.
Zelensky's out of his mind. Okay.
And it's a losing situation for us or anybody else
so
that
just real
decides
quick.
to back him.
Two things here, right? The guy, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Marjorie Taylor Greene, her boyfriend, picks a perfect time to ask a question like that. Elon showing up in a suit or a tie into the Oval Office, or is he always coming with that hat and walking around like a...
He wears a jacket.
I guess we could call
Get rid of him.
we'll
Okay,
call
I
him
heard.
the
You
ketamine
don't have to. You don't have to say that again. Steve said, "Get rid of him." You don't have to say that again. I heard that.
Hopeless.
You know, Elon Musk always wears a jacket in the Oval Office, and he's not a head of state either. Okay, who came in to sign an international agreement like Zelensky. Oh my goodness, didn't he sound off? But I'm going to agree with him on one thing because he made a very good point. It's a great lead-in. I lost 25 pounds without any exercise. That's amazing, Steve. No steps, no walking, no nothing. And
It's astounding.
It's amazing. You know, when I met with Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, he said, "Well, what do you want to do, Brian? How much?" I said, "Well, we got our cruise leaving on March 30th," and I said, "I'd like to lose weight before the cruise." He said, "How much?" I said, 25 pounds. He says, "No problem." I said, "I don't know, 25 pounds." Because when I think of 25 pounds, Steve, you know how I imagine 25 pounds? 25 packs of hamburger. At the you know, in the meat thing at Publix, you know, and I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot. He's like, no problem. And here we are, Steve. It's the 4th of March, 25 days early, and I reached my goal. No exercise. The only thing I run is my mouth, and it's amazing. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm going to give you the number. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. It's 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. Before we break, I just want to mention, Steve, we have later this week or the beginning of next, I had the most incredible lunch yesterday at a restaurant that has multiple locations in Palm Beach that's coming on as a sponsor of the program.
Ooh, I love it.
And
New restaurant.
I'll tell you and everybody about it later in the week. But I'll tell you this: I had
what kind of food?
All kinds of food, Steve. Great Southern food like fried chicken and collard greens and mac and cheese. But they also have fish, and one of my favorites. You might think this is strange to be one of my favorites, hush puppies. I love hush puppies and I love collard greens. I could live off of both of those. But here's the cool thing, Steve. It's family-owned and operated restaurant with multiple locations in Palm Beach County. Okay? The prices are so affordable. Everybody's worried about food prices these days. I got a big order for takeout because I wanted to try as much on the menu as I could for my wife and I, And the prices are so affordable. You could feed a family even as large as yours so inexpensively, so affordably, and at the same time get great quality family cooked food. It really blew my mind. So I can't wait to tell you guys about them either later this week or the beginning of next.
You don't want to give us a clue, tease us?
No.
Just tell me the name.
I know you like collard greens. I know you like collard greens.
Sounds like soul food.
Well, no, it's there's soul in everything, But no, you got fried chicken, you've got fish, you've got everything. It's amazing. So, but no, I'll tell you guys about it later in the week. I'll keep the suspense going. But I can't wait for you to go over and have a meal yourself with your family, Steve. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take a break for the gold report. And I do think Tom sounded off. Didn't he sound off? He just did not.
Yeah.
Something's up. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, leave my mic on, my headset on, so I can hear the gold.
Oh well, I'll try. Right? I can't promise, but I'll try. Okay, hold on. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our last break of the day. Come back with the gold report after this. Hey there. Hold on. Steve, you there?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Okay. All right. We'll be back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. No. Less. Okay, hold on. 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, 30 seconds. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Tuesday edition of the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Oh, the metals are looking very good, Brian. Very strong markets after that little profit-taking situation we saw last week, giving us a little opportunity to jump into the metals while they were down. Gold finding great support around $2,850, and now we have seen gold jump another $65 just yesterday and today. So right now yesterday we saw gold close at $2,893. That was up $35.90 after trading in a range of $28.57 on the low all the way up to $28.95. Silver closed up 56 cents yesterday at $31.67 the ounce, while platinum was up $10 at $9.53, and palladium gained $13 at $918. The rally continues this morning as we've seen gold trading overnight at from $28.81 to $29.28. Right now we're at $29.23. That's up $30. Silver's up 19 cents at $31.85 the ounce. Platinum's up $7 at $9.60, and palladium up $8 at $9.26. Wow. So markets are doing very well, and gold poised possibly to hit that $3,000 number this week.
That's exciting. Now, let me ask you, William, last week and the week before we were talking about pre-33 gold. How's pre-33 gold looking this week?
Pre-33 gold is still on tremendous sale, lowest premiums in the history of in my 60 years of being business. It's
That's
the lowest
amazing.
Premiums I've seen. Great buying opportunities for people that want to get into something historically interesting, beautiful, and a true gold investment.
Can you those that are into pre-33 gold understand the significance of what you just said? I mean, because it's on. But can you tell people quickly? We're a little short on time, but And Steve, I've been trying to get Steve in the pre-33. Can you tell people about pre-33 gold, what it is? And I think a lot of people that don't know about it would love to jump on it, especially at the lowest prices you've seen in your career.
Right. The gold, pre-33 gold is gold that was used on our country, actually used as of a form of payment. It was actual money in circulation prior to 1933, when Roosevelt took us off of the gold standard, called in all the gold coins, and the only remaining gold coins ended up in Europe, and a few of them hidden away in this country. And then when the gold was legalized for ownership again, the coins came back to this country after being hid away in Swiss banks and European banks. And now we have the opportunity to buy these gold coins that were historically important to our country, and certainly answers the question as to why to own gold, because when the governments don't want you to have it, that's the time you really need it.
Yeah, and that pre-33 gold is very sought after, and it is gold. It is gold. It's beautiful, and at the lowest prices you've seen in your 60-year career. All right, guys, listen, you can remember, you don't have to go into William Youngerman's. If you're out of town, out of state, or maybe you're in town and you can't make it into a shop in Boca, you can do your transactions over the phone and through the mail. Give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and he's located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. You back with us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, that pre-33 gold, that's what our grandpas used to go around and spend, you know. All right. Yeah. All right, let's take some more of these calls. Calls been pretty good today. Some people a little emotional out there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning. Jay from Jersey.
Oh, hey,
in
Jay.
A very good mood.
Oh.
Very good mood. Oh. Well, this morning we were talking about
the unemployment extension get approved? What has you in such a good mood?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm laughing at.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at all the unemployed MAGA people who've lost their jobs.
Really, who? Can you tell me who?
That's why I'm in a good mind.
Like who? Like who?
Like the ones that was on MSNBC last night.
MAGA people don't go on MSNBC and complain about Trump.
Oh, yes, they do. Oh, they did last night.
That's fake MAGA.
And then guess what? They're coming to the speech tonight with the Democrats.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's going to be good.
So slow down, Jay. Slow down, Jay. Jay,
okay,
listen.
Go ahead.
Listen, we got a few minutes here. We don't have to rush. So you expect this audience to believe that MAGA hat-wearing MAGA voters who have voted for Trump probably 3 times are going to accompany Democrats to the president's address to Congress? That doesn't even make sense. That's not believable.
Oh, well, let me explain to you why it makes sense. Okay, let me say it.
Give me a break.
Well, all those nice lily white people
Lily White
walking out of all those businesses,
George Jefferson,
and all those companies and the State Departments, all of those people that's walking out, guess what?
Democrats.
They're not black. No, they're your nice lily white MAGA. They're mad.
MAGA's not in the bureaucracy.
The town halls are full of Republicans.
You know, when somebody...
All town halls are filled with Republicans.
Fake Republicans.
They did a
Fake
poll.
Republicans.
They did a poll. 65%
Fake.
of MAGA is pissed with Trump.
65%?
That's why I'm so happy.
Okay. Then you know what? Hold on, Jay. Slow down. 65% of MAGA voters regret their vote for Trump.
Yes.
Why are his poll numbers so high?
Why? Because Trump's a nut.
You sound high.
You know what? I wish I did get high. I wish I did get high because this is a good time. Because I told you he was going to mess up the economy and everything else. Guess what? I remember when you said you went to Burger King and the prices were so high. Now they're even higher. The grocery stores are higher. Gas is higher. The stock market crashed. What else do you want to hear? He's firing all you nice white people who got them great big old houses. Now they don't have a job. He's doing a great job, isn't he?
So
guess what? It's not a lot of black people walking out of them jobs.
Let me get this straight. What has you more excited than I've ever heard you on a phone call is the idea that people have lost their job?
No, the point is the fact that you too stupid to see how he's making these people lose their jobs. And guess what? Tell Richie that he's stopped. He's getting ready to not get his Social Security check.
Oh, really?
Trump is stopping that too.
This is what
you're listening. Hear it.
This is what happens when you watch MSNBC.
Oh, Steve, you're old. Steve, you old too. You ain't getting yours either. You ain't getting yours either, Steve.
This is great. This is the new Black Phantom.
How old you are. I love it. That's why I'm so happy this morning. Yeah.
Well,
y'all want to act like this isn't happening. I told you that I was going to call in and let you know.
Steve, when you slow down, Jay, back in the 60s when you guys were doing all those drugs, what was the one that caused what was the one that caused
about me. I was in school. I wasn't doing
I'm
drugs.
talking to Steve. I'm talking to Steve.
I'm happy.
What was the one that caused the hallucinations that you guys used to take in the 60s? The one that caused
the same one. I tell you which one it was. The same one that Elon Musk is sniffing up his
I don't know. I don't know about drugs.
White powder.
Oh my goodness.
The same drugs that Elon Musk is sniffing up his
Appreciate
nose.
the call. Who's more gone, Jay from Jersey or Tom from Palm Beach? What's going on out there with our audience, Steve?
I don't know. I'm having a sneezing spell. That's all I know.
Oh, you are? Hold on. Let me clear out the line. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you this. Okay. Did you get the sneeze out, Steve? I muted you for a second. Okay. Well, we'll take another call. Let's see if we got somebody that's not hallucinating. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Jim from New York. How you doing?
Oh, my goodness, Jim. What's on your mind?
That transvestite racist Jay from Jersey is such a fraud.
Transvestite?
I mean, he can't even act on the phone. I mean, we all know he's showed up on the air a couple times, sounding like a woman, and then he's a guy. We don't know what he is, but at the end of the day, he's trying this acting job. He's not a good actor on the radio, pretending like he's all happy.
You think he's a drag queen? Is what you think, like a Jersey drag queen?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure he's on Pornhub watching certain other types of movies that don't involve women. I would bet my next paycheck on it. I would bet my next paycheck. And you know what's funny? I'm driving to work now. I'm unemployed. He's not. The damn gas I passed by yesterday is 5 cents cheaper a gallon than it was yet. Now I'm PO'd. I got freaking gas yesterday.
Yeah, it's going down already.
Yeah, he really is. So. That's all I have for today, but that guy's such a phony.
All right. Good. I like a caller that knows when they're out of material. I don't know what happened today. The callers, things started out very serious, and as the show progressed, around the time you joined us, Steve, the callers started getting a little kooky.
You're going to blame it on me, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But Jay and Tom, Democrats both, do not sound their normal selves. They sound off. I don't know. It's all that winning we're doing. So anyway, the president's speaking tonight at 9 p.m. So I got to stay up late. I'm usually in bed by 9 p.m., so I got to stay up late.
We're going to stay up for the commentary after, too.
Nah, well, I'll go to bed after the president. I'll come with my own commentary, but I'll stay up for the president, absolutely. He's got me on the edge of my seat in suspense. He said there's something big, and that could be anything. We'll find out. If I could have my pick, I'd love him to come out with the peace treaty that Putin just signed to end the war in Ukraine. That would be beautiful.
You can be sure it'll be something dramatic.
That would be good. All right, well, listen, we're about out of time for today, but we will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. My name is Brian Craig. Of course, Steve Kane here as well. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Those of you on hold, hang in there. We'll be back tomorrow at 6. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. God bless America and President Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're new, subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You guys know that. And if you're already subscribed, if you could do me the favor of liking the video, that would go a long way to help too. All right, guys. I'll see you.